So let's go through and understand the case study. This in fact is an assignment for you, right, which we'll cover as an outcome during our RISE circles. Okay, this is because has a practical approach to it and will require some bit of interactivity. But here's what you need to do. All right, there's a repetition of the steps or the framework for a consulting assignment, right? And the successful consulting as an outcome is mentioned through. Okay, so this is as the refresher now. Now using this, you will need to download the Walmart case study. Okay, Walmart went through a tremendous transformation for various issues that they had earlier, right? Their most of their their supermarkets were getting closed down, right? And they realized that some were closing faster than the other in certain part of the geography, right? It was difficult for the CEO then to figure out what was happening, you know. Hence, they took some discrete steps which have been mentioned in the case study and why they took those steps and what it resulted into. Now, first time around, it was not successful. Okay, so the key elements were not out. The outcome was not given as per the key elements that were passed on. Second time around, they did some things more, and that resulted into the right kind of solution, and then they became successful in doing what they did, and so Walmart then started floating the way it is right now. Now here's what you need to do. You need to download Walmart, understand it. If you don't already know the case study, right, you will have to understand, read it, come diverge into the problem, and then start assimilating to the kind of learnings that you had from the previous 4 elements that we talked about, and put your proposition, what you would have done differently, and create a case study outcome out of it. Okay, I am not giving you a template for this time around. I will give it to you for the second one. Why? Because I want, this exercise will help you to formulate communication material as a consultant would, and that itself could be a pointing out methodology for people like me to suggest that why something is right in the format that you presented, or why not. Okay, and that becomes a learning exercise in itself if you already don't know that. Now, with that said, with the proposition that you give and the outcome that you come with, what you need to understand is that you need to support that what a proposition you're giving and why. So this will require a little bit of research. Okay, and research topic we've covered in the earlier rises, right? So, and you follow that methodology and come to a point, then it becomes a part of your 7-step exercise in the framework, which you will then go about recommending with the support of the reasons. Okay, I'll pick at least the top 3, right, which will then enable some of the people to get rewarded for the elements that they've done, and that will also make other people understand why some things were picked up and some were not, right? Ideally, you should compete here and get to the top 3, so that you will already tick mark the bucketed items of some of the successful consulting elements, okay, with the virtue of that. With that, once you finish your assignments, come to the inner circle, and you will get a link to pass it on to me, or through an email that will be suggested. Then it will be studied through, and we'll pick the top ones. All right. With that, I will see you in the next day, where we'll start covering the digitalization elements. Okay. And what goes into this to make a successful digitalization consulting out as an outcome. Wear certain technical hat while you're doing that, because it will be a little overwhelming if you are still not got into that groove of technology and so on and so forth. You better do, because this will help you not get overwhelmed to start with, but at the same time get into specifics of what sort of consulting goes and what sort of technology comes into existence because of this. You need not know all the technologies, okay? So that's not the idea and not the criteria here. It is how a consultant views technology so that he gets the right kind of help for the solution that he's finding through. Okay? With that, I'll see you there for the day 2. Have a good one.